Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino. Sunday, November 26, 2023. I hope all of you had a really festive Thanksgiving and you just enjoyed life to the highest order, because that's what we need to do. All right, people, listen, let's talk about this market. We got to go back to work, and today this is a work day for me, so here we go. Let's start off with this. Let's just laugh a little bit. This has been, up to right now, the last month, the best month for this market all year. Why? The promise of easy money, as you and I have been speaking about like crazy as of late. It's not going to stop. All the rhetoric. I want you to ignore several things. This is markets a look ahead, right? Okay, so let's look ahead a little bit. How many of you, let's start off with this, believe that the Federal Reserve right now is going to cut off the flow of easy money into this market? Do you actually believe that's going to happen? No, you don't. Exactly. The Fed is going to keep pumping this market. Not only is the Fed going to keep pumping this market, look for a couple of other things to play in tandem along with that. What am I talking about? Massive, off the Richter scale, government spending. Fact. That's what's going to happen, because our loving, caring representatives are hell-bent on bankrupting more so than we already are. I mean, you know, we're the most indebted nation in the history of the world. We've never seen anything like this in the history of the world. As you and I have spoken about for I don't know how many years now, debts and deficits are going to continue to explode, especially in light of the recent economic news that we got. Manufacturing here in the United States, the whole sector continues to contract. Industrial production contracting. And then you're going to hear another thing. Again, start to pay attention to the mainstream media narrative. No recession. No recession. They're drilling this into people's heads. You know, this again, it's the illusion of the market. People see the market going up like it's been doing like crazy as of late, and you know exactly why. You're watching risk in this market. You see, you have taken this to the next level by following things like the 10-year yield, the U.S. dollar on a relative strength basis. Better yet, the Mannarino Market Risk Indicator, MMRI, free to everyone on this planet who has the intellect to use it. Link in the description of this video. You and I have watched risk in this market drop. What have we been saying for months? Months! If they can keep risk at bay, if they can weaken the dollar. You have to understand what's going on here. Let me cover this real quick. All right. Central banks have enormous power. I think that's pretty evident, to keep things just propped up. They just add digits to a screen in any amount they want to. They issue debt to the world collectively. We all live under the rulership of these institutions here. They dictate everything. They control the economy. They control the markets. They control the financial system. So they control the world. Okay. This mechanism here of central banks manipulating the market starts with a couple of factors. Let's talk about that real quick in case you don't know, because maybe some of you are new here. How central banks manipulate the money supply, the market, is pretty simple. It starts with the currency. Okay. Central banks have the power to issue currency in any amount they want to, and they can fund whatever they want to. Wars, ongoing wars, terrorist organizations, everything else, that's what they can do with no oversight. So what central banks do, okay, and again, it's kind of funny how our loving, caring politicians label this nation as a currency manipulator or that nation as a currency manipulator, but not looking at the Federal Reserve, which is currency manipulator number one. Okay. Right now, the Federal Reserve is doing a couple of things. All central banks do this, but the Federal Reserve is in this hardcore. And you and I have been watching this in real time, seeing the relative strength of the dollar drop after one hell of a run. Okay. However, remember what I'm going to tell you here as well. The dollar will remain the prettiest belle at the ball for the foreseeable future, but collectively, central banks are weakening their currencies here. This is a mechanism that's been going on for quite a long time. Let's stick with the Federal Reserve real quick. The Fed is dumping dollars onto the market and buying foreign currencies. What this does is weaken the dollar on a relative strength basis. Okay, this is stock market positive. It's not good for you or me as they continue to also suck the purchasing power of the currency out. Inflation is going to get much worse moving forward. That's going to be a big theme for next year. A big theme for next year. And although they're going to tell you that inflation is getting better, and how they're going to spin that lie is they're going to tell you, again, these are the things to listen for on the mainstream propaganda ministry. They're going to tell you that the pace of inflation is slowing, or maybe even has remained static, but that does not mean that it's not rising. It's still rising, but the pace of how it's rising is slowing. Okay, inflation is going to continue to rise. Central banks are going to have to fill the gap with regard to debts and deficits. Who makes up the difference? Well, I'm going to give you one guess. You can't consistently run debts and deficits. Some entity has to make it up. The Federal Reserve in this case is more than happy to lend and pump more cash into the system because they want to be the lender and buyer of last resort. Every central bank's goal is to be the lender and buyer of last resort. You all know this better than anybody in the world. That's the truth. So central banks, no more so than the Fed, is going to buy more debt. You've been watching a phenomenon occur as of late. We were in, I want you to think about this, we were, notice the term were, in the biggest, most vicious bear market in debt that we've ever seen in history. All of a sudden this changed. It all changed at the last Federal Reserve Open Market Committee meeting here, monetary policy announcement where the Fed said, oh, they're going to pause again, 2 pauses in a row. And with the continuing bad economic news, and it's not going to change, the market is going to anticipate, and this is exactly what's going to happen here, and I've been talking about this for a while, they're going to start cutting rates moving forward. All right. That is also very much stock market positive, but the Fed is going to buy more debt. So what you and I need to look for, again, we're going to look for a weaker dollar on a relative strength basis. We're going to look for more debt buying by the Fed. And this will be reflected in the Mannarino Market Risk Indicator, MMRI. Again, link in the description of this video. As you and I have also discussed for I don't know how freaking long now, risk management, again, that's the job of the Federal Reserve right now, is to foster the appearance that there is less risk in this market than there actually is. Risk in this market in reality is rising very, very rapidly. We are still in a full-blown, full-on liquidity crisis. You understand? Okay. The illusion is being kept real via the propping up of the stock market. Again, massive government spending, Fed buying more debt, Fed weakening the dollar. I told you how they're doing this. This mechanism, regardless of anything else, understand, the economy, not just here in the United States, but around the world, is collapsing. It's collapsing. It's taking an entire class of people with it. You all know this. I've been covering it for 10 years. The middle class is being systematically wiped out. They're being erased. 10 years ago, literally 10 years ago, I explained to everybody who listens to me out here that if you are a member of the middle class, you have a target tattooed on your face. You are being eliminated. You are being exterminated as if you were a bug or a rodent or something along those lines here. They are fostering a new 2-tier system, a new feudal system, a neo-feudal system. They're pushing wealth up to the 1% and 2%ers. There's no such thing as trickle down. Okay, this is a lie that has been sold to you by every single administration as far as you want to go back. There's no such thing as the trickle-down effect. It all gets pushed upward to the 1% and 2%ers who could not possibly be doing better than they are today. Just so you know where this is going here. Of course, things like inflation, a higher cost of living, this does affect the super rich and the rich as well, but not to the same degree. What's going on here is unfortunately people are being forced, they have no choice, to endure a much lower standard of living. You know, you'll eat bugs and you're going to be happy doing it. You'll have nothing and you will be happy for that too. That's where we're going. All right, extreme haves, extreme have-nots. I've told you this for 10 years, and it's actually happening. All the things that we've spoken about, people, is happening. What can we expect with regard to the market? Okay, I've covered this to the point of vomiting as of late. The Fed is going to prop up this market right now through till Christmas, so the fat cats at the corporations get their multi-million-dollar bonuses. You know how this works. Year-end bonuses for the big wigs at the corporation is based on stock share price. The Federal Reserve has already started their pump. They're pumping it. They must allow the big wigs at the corporations to get their multi-million dollar bonuses so they can go out and buy their yachts and their jet planes and their Lamborghinis and Ferraris and whatever they need, okay, to sustain their lifestyle. That is a game that is being played, and it's being sucked right out of you. Again, your cost of living is skyrocketing. Your standard of living is dropping. Meanwhile, theirs is getting much better. This is the Federal Reserve colluding, again, with our lawmakers, our policymakers, which really have no say-so at all. Doesn't matter who sits behind the resolute desk. None of this matters at all. This is not a democracy. It's not a representative democracy anymore. You and I have covered this at length as well. It's every man, every woman for themselves. We already have a plan to beat the system, you and I. We beat the system by betting against the debt, by becoming our own central bank, holding hard assets, loading up on massively suppressed assets, understanding that this situation here is going to get vastly more insane. Okay, I'm talking about much greater debts and deficits, much higher inflation, although they're going to try to convince you that's not what's happening. They're going to lie to you. Again, no recession. The economy is strong. It couldn't be worse off. Existing home sales hit at a historic low. People can't pay bills anymore. More people applying for bankruptcy than we've ever seen in history. This is exactly the phenomenon that you and I have spoken about for the longest time. Prior members of the middle class, to maintain that illusion, are going to borrow and borrow and borrow, thinking that's the way to remain prosperous. And all they're doing is assuring themselves a first-class seat on the freight train into financial obscurity and into the lower rung of society. They're creating dependency on the system, as you and I have outlined. They need dependency on the system, slaves to the system, period, the end. They need people to suffer, and they are. They need people to worry. They need to raise their stress levels. They need to, by raising their stress levels, it suppresses their immune system. Which raises every manner of disease process. They want you sick. They want you ill. They want to poison you with the air. They want to poison you with food. Everything they can do. Again, more dependency on the system. Big Pharma wants you to be sick. They do not want to cure you. You understand? Do you see how this all fits together? I hope you do. Because, again, everywhere you step is a trap door. You understand? And they want you to fall through it. Most people are going to fall through that trap door, but not you and I, because we are so far ahead of the curve. Honestly, if you maintain the attitude, the state of awareness that I have urged all of you to, raise your awareness. You can't fall through these trap doors. It's impossible. They put them there for you, thinking that most people will fall through, and most people will. 99% of people are going to fall through some kind of a trap door, which will lead them into some type of obscurity, but not you and me, all right? I made you a promise from over 10 years ago that I will never let you down, never. And I will never let you down, never. Okay, I got your back, you got my back, we got each other's back, period. We're a big family out here. I've been telling you this for years. I've been telling you to love each other, care about each other, be charitable for years. This is how we can change each other's lives. We can make a better world. Anyway, with regard to other assets, stock market you should expect is going much higher. You should expect the dollar to weaken. You should expect more debt to be bought up here. With regard to commodities, I told all of you before this route started, you will more than likely see pressure on commodities as the game remains risk on. Risk on meaning suppressed rates, weaker dollar, pushes cash into the stock market, okay? That's what it's designed to do, maintain the illusion of a prosperous economy by propping up the stock market. Nothing could be further from the truth. There's no connection at all between the economy and the stock market. There's a humongous gap. That gap will close at one point. That gap will close. The economy is not going to get any better, but the stock market will at one point reach some kind of reality, but not yet. Not until they're done, and we have to pay for it all via inflation, via much higher government spending, via the other lie that I want you to start listening for is, again, we're not going into recession because GDP is high. Gross domestic product, gross domestic product, gross domestic product, and that's because of we're funding wars around the world and pulling more cash into now. Government spending is calculated as a percentage of GDP. We could be back in the Stone Age, okay, where people are, actually, hunter-gatherers again, eating dogs and cats in the street, but they would tell you the economy is strong, and you could tell that because GDP is high because of, again, war, expanding war, and whatever else they want to throw cash at. All right, so just, again, this is all the illusion. You and I are on the right pathway here. By understanding the distortions that exist in the market, we can take advantage of that. By realizing that commodities are massively suppressed. Now, crude oil, a lot of volatility here with this so-called contango thing going on here. I'm not sure it's over. We watched some extreme volatility. I think that's still going to play out for a while. But in the long run, crude oil is going much higher. It has nothing to do with supply and demand. It has to do with the purchasing power of the dollar being destroyed, along with other currencies, as well as central banks are in a race to the bottom to destroy their own currencies and issue in a new system, as you and I have spoken about repeatedly for I don't know how many freaking years. You understand? People, look, we got this down, you and I, and we know what to do about it. We know who our enemy is. We know what they want. I'm talking about the central banks. We know what they're trying to do to us, so we can counter-strategize against that. I can't imagine a better place to be than hard assets, physical silver, my favorite asset of all time, gold as well, exposure to commodities. I have outlined this in my free newsletter, link below, multiple times, and I will put out a new newsletter with a bunch of exchange traded funds you might want to look at, giving you exposure to commodities moving forward as well. But look for these things, commodities right now, to remain suppressed as the game remains risk on, and that's where it's going to be for a while. So just use this to your advantage. Use every single thing that comes along to your own advantage, okay? As I said, we got to look out for each other. No one else is going to do it. And all we're going to get is lies, distractions, distortions, and deceptions from the tell-lie vision. And just stop watching that stuff, because it's all just going to twist your mind. All right, people, look, that's pretty much it. Covered a lot of stuff here. Please do comment. I will read the comments. Share the video. Get it out there. Please give this video a thumbs up. Get it out there. Let people see it. Those thumbs up allow the algorithms to pick up the video, and it gets out there and it gets seen. And that's it. So I will see all of you in the morning. I'm looking forward to that. We'll put this all together as we always do. This guy here loves you a lot from the heart. I mean this with all I got. And I will see you in the morning, okay? That's it.